Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's session. Today's a continuation of the session we had a few weeks ago, and it's about exploring our relationship with mothers and daughters. Those of you who are not in the session is going to watch the replay. If you go to the female series playlist on my YouTube, you will find that I have added a video by Heiko and Selena. They have done a session about 4 or 5 years ago on releasing blockages in the relationship with mothers and daughters. It's almost 4 hours long, I believe. So, but it's very, very powerful. So I remember doing it, and it was incredible. So you might want to head there and also play with that video and see how much you can clear out. It's very powerful stuff. You might not want to do the whole video in one go. Take it in small bites. And yeah, and today we want to continue exploring our the war relationship, kind of like the conflicting relationships that we have often with our mothers. We're afraid of becoming our mothers, but then we also catch ourselves being like our mothers. So where does it come from? Let's explore this. And as always, make yourself as comfortable as you need to. Yes, very good. Keep dropping stuff in the chat. I'll keep my eye on it. And as soon as I can, I'll wave it into the clearing. Okay? Put your awareness at the center of your heart. There's nothing you need to do. There's nowhere you need to go. Just allow yourself to be fully present in the here and the now. Put your awareness somewhere 300 feet above your crown. Tap into the love and light 300 feet above your crown. Allow this love and light to begin coming down on your crown, on your forehead, on your ajna, on your throat, everywhere you've been silenced, everywhere your voice didn't matter, everywhere you were verbally overpowered by your mother. Often when we're children, of course, our mothers have better arguments. Of course, our mothers have better ways of manipulating us and making us do what they want us to do. So everywhere you have been overpowered or you lost against your mother in verbal combats, delete this story and create, delete this story and create. What would it take for you to release all the programs, all the conditioning in your throat area that silence you, silence your voice, marginalize it, make it insignificant, invaluable, unvaluable, what, invaluable? Not valuable, basically. Whatever you say. Everywhere others don't pay attention to what you say. This energy is coming down to your heart, where there is pain, hurt in your relationship with your mother. What would it take for you to transform completely your relationship with your mother and heal all the issues? That's why we often have better relationships with our grandmothers, because we don't have the emotional baggage with them, the same emotional baggage that we have with our mothers. So what would it take for you to release, let go from your heart any hurt feelings? May some of you with karma abuse just create a fall that is to instruct you, the soul, to run healing energies, pre-programmed soul energies through your energetic field, your heart. Whatever is preventing you from forgiving and forgetting, moving on, letting go. This energy is coming into your solar plexus everywhere. There is an emotional baggage that you're carrying with your mother. What would it take for you to let it go? What would it take for you to release that emotional baggage? This energy is coming into your navel. Everywhere there is resentment, anger, frustration, hurt feelings, unfairness, injustice. Delete the story and create. Everywhere you need to fight with your mother for your right to be you, delete the story and create. Everywhere your mother projects her fears, her beliefs on you, everywhere you feel your mother is trying to program you into becoming her, delete the story and create. What would it take for you to release all the programs from your energetic field that were placed in you by your mother that no longer serve you? Not all programs were bad, but whatever no longer serves you, what would it take for you to let that go? This energy is going into your pelvis, your feet, your legs, your knees, your soles of your feet, everywhere you're stuck. Delete, distort, uncreate, delete, distort, uncreate, delete, distort, uncreate. Even if your mother is no longer in the physical body, it doesn't deny what happened in the past. And it's still in you. This energy is going down, 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 down to the center of Mother Earth. What would it take for you to allow Mother Earth to love you the way you always wished your mother loved you? What would it take for you to allow the Mother Earth and Creator of all that is to shower you with love, to flood you with love, to love you in all the ways you always wished your father and your mother loved you, your family loved you? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's not allowing it, delete, distort, uncreate, delete, distort, uncreate. What would it take for you and your mother? And you might want to invite the energy of your mother into this conversation and ask for her permission, whatever is being done right now. Ask for her permission to allow for your relationship to energetically transform, to be healed. What would it take for your mother to allow for healing to happen, to collaborate in this endeavor today? Whatever is standing on the way, whatever is not allowing this, delete, distort, uncreate, delete, distort, uncreate. May some of you and your mother's soul, some of you become abused, to extract both your souls, to run pre-programmed soul energy through your relationship. Everywhere you feel suffocated by your mother, what would it take for you to feel free and empowered, surrounded by your mother, in the presence of your mother? What would it take for you to feel like your mother wants only the best for you? Whatever is best for you according to you, not to her. What would it take for your mother to accept that you know exactly what's best for you better than her? Delete, distort, uncreate, delete, distort, uncreate, delete, distort, uncreate. What would it take for you to trust your mother? Delete, distort, uncreate. Everywhere you've been hurt so many times, or even betrayed, your trust was betrayed by your mother so many times that you don't trust her anymore. What would it take for you to let go of all the painful memories? Delete, distort, uncreate. If some of you with karma abuse, to ask you the soul to run pre-programmed soul energy to start disentangling. Whatever experiences you have had with your mother that made you conclude that your mother wasn't trustworthy, that you weren't safe around your mother. How many times has your mother maybe beat you or yelled at you or criticized you that made you believe you are not safe around her? What would it take for you to feel safe and supported around your mother? What would it take for your mother to give you what you need from her, truly? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's preventing this, everything that's not allowing this, what kind of vibration, what kind of energy, what kind of frequency would you and your mother need to bring in into your energetic field to completely, fully up level across all time, dimension, space, and reality? What would it take for your relationship to change? What would it take for you to allow for a change in your relationship? Everywhere your father is standing between you, what would it take for your father to get out of your relationship with your mother? We will deal with your relationship with your father next week. Next week it's his turn. But what would it take for your father to step out of your relationship and just allow? What would it take for your father to give up the belief that you might gang up on him? That's what's coming up. If you were united, What would it take for your family to not have any gangs ganging up on anybody? Delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. Times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for all the energies in your family to be so harmonized that there's only love, kindness, peace, harmony between you? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's not allowing this, everything that's interfering. Delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. What would it take for your mother and you to be a wonderful, beautiful, inspirational, supporting team where everybody has their interests at heart? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's interfering. Everywhere you're locked in conflicts, old conflicts. You don't even know what you're arguing about anymore. You're just arguing. May some of you with karma abuse just create a folder this to instruct your souls to run pre-programmed soul energy, to start going deep, deep, deep into your tissue, into your chakras, your Akashic record, and using pre-programmed soul energy. Start clearing out all the baggages from this life and past lives that you have with your mother and she has with you. Clearing out all the energies of competition. I don't know if you're sensing it, but this is something that I've known for many, many years and I've been doing, but I've never been doing with you before, is running pre-programmed soul energy. So basically, when you heal with soul energy, the soul energy knows what's going on with you. It knows exactly what's happening with you, what the problem is. And that is why when you trigger soul energy, it is pre-programmed by you, the soul, not by me, not by God, by you, the soul. And it knows exactly what to do. Okay? So Misoma with karma abuse just created all that is to bring up the most important thing, the biggest blockage, whatever that is for you. Misoma with karma abuse just created all that is to bring up the biggest blockage problem in our relationship with our mothers. And Misoma with karma abuse just created all that is to run pre-programmed soul energy through that blockage and that problem. And clear it all out. I don't know if you perceive or sense it, but the soul energy is very sweet. It's very light. It feels like sprinkle. And some of our with karma abuse just create a follow this to bring up the next biggest, most important blockage issue in our relationship with our mothers in this lifetime. And my Somafar with karma abuse just create a follow this to trigger the soul energy pre-programmed. Run it through your mother, run it through ourselves. Flashing out the issue. Across all time, dimension, space, and reality. What would it take for us to pull out all the required information from our Akashic record that is behind those conflicts, behind this issues with our mothers? What would it take for us to release all the pent-up energies, emotions, feelings, keep the lessons, let go of the pain, anger, resentment? What would it take? In some of our karma abuse, just create a folder this to instruct us, the souls, to run pre-programmed soul energy through our Akashic record, pulling out all the disguised false memory implants, false information, Everything that's interfering, everything that's standing on the way, delete this story, uncreate. Delete this story, uncreate. Everywhere you're feeling criticized by your mother. So for me, it always feels like my mother is poking at me. Like I can't just be at peace. She always has to comment something, say something. And I always feel like she's picking on me. But she's picking on me for the things she actually has. I don't really have them. So it's kind of funny. It's just annoying more than anything. So what would it take for our mothers to stop picking on us, stop poking us, and energetically leave us in peace? Delete this story, uncreate whatever it is that's standing on the way. Everywhere our mothers are dissatisfied with themselves and projecting their dissatisfaction on us, delete this story, uncreate. Everywhere our mothers can't allow us to be happier than them, delete this story, uncreate. Everywhere our mothers need to pull us down to their level of happiness or unhappiness, delete this story, uncreate, delete this story, uncreate, delete this story, uncreate. And some of our with karma abuse, just create a folder this to run pre-programmed soul energy through all of that, across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And start removing, releasing, neutralizing, expelling, clearing, whatever that is. Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere we have taken on our mother's destinies, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere we have taken on our mother's problems, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere we've taken on our mother's mindset and limits and limitations, delete the story, uncreate. That's another thing I feel with my mother. She always wants me to put in me, she wants to put me in her box. She's full of fears, limits, limitations, and so on, rather than allowing me to expand. Well, she's changed a lot, so, but in the past, she has these fears and limitations. I feel like she wants to put me into the same box as her, so we can have a pity party in the same box, which I don't allow. So delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for your mother, our mothers, to give up their boxes and give up any attempts to pull us into the same box where they are? May some of our karma abuse just create a folder test to run pre-programmed soul energy through our mother's energy, through our energy, through our relationship with our mothers. There's a lot of release. I don't know if you're feeling it. Very interesting energy. What would it take? Are you willing to give up your mother's boxes? What would it take for you to choose something greater than what your mother has ever chosen? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's interfering, everything that's not allowing this, delete, destroy, uncreate. Times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to stop feeling burdened by your mother and your mother's destiny and your choices in life? Everywhere you pity your mother, what would it take for you to stop pitying your mother and start celebrating her for her bravery, the strength, the choices she has made, and how they shaped you. And what would it take for you to invite your mother to join you on your journey? What would it take for you to include your mother in all the spiritual work that you do, so she gets to benefit from it? I keep mentioning I donate money and to spiritual foundations, and 50% I donate on my behalf, and 50% I actually donate on behalf of my parents, my brother and my sister, and my grandmothers who are still alive. So what would it take for you? Because, that's why I feel like my family has transformed significantly spiritually, because if I give them the money, because that's what we must do, we must give 50%, sorry, 10%, we must donate, and half of it should go to spiritual teachers, people that feed us, and 50% should go to our parents or people that raised us. If I gave my parents the money or my family the money, they would not invest it into their spiritual growth. That is why I invest on their behalf, and I decree that whatever blessings come my way, because I've been very, very fortunate in my spiritual journey, and I do believe that it's partially because I donate money. So lots of blessings come back to me, but also to them, because they also feel they're entitled to it. And if I pull them, if I work on them all the time, I don't think it would have been the same change, the same progress, as if somebody like my spiritual teacher, if the blessings come from higher up. So you might want to consider, really, if you want to transform your relationship, you might want to consider donating on the behalf of the people that have raised you, in decree, that good karma comes back to them in form of spiritual growth. And it's really amazing, the transformation that my parents had, right? Both. So delete the story, uncreate. What kind of vibration, what kind of frequency would your mother and you need to bring in into your energetic field? To have joy, fun, laughter, ease, beautiful communication between you? What would it take? For you to love each other in the way you are able to accept love. 5 languages of love, if you remember the book. 5 things: listening, giving gifts, spending quality time together, presence, acts of service. 5 things, whichever way you enjoy love, or receive love, are able to receive love in whichever way she can. What would it take? What kind of energy, what kind of vibration, what kind of frequency would you both need to bring into your relationship for you to really feel like you're loved by your mother, and your mother is loved by you? What kind of conflicts have you inherited, generational conflicts that have been passed down from mother to daughter? What would it take for you to give up all the conflicts? What would it take for all the conflicts to be cleared out of your DNA, cellular memory? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's holding you back, everything that's interfering. What would it take for you to speed up time and do it now? Not spending hours and hours, days running this replay over and over again, but get cleared now. Some of your good karma abuse, just create a folder. This to program your energetic field in such a way that the blockages come up to the surface in a fast manner and get cleared out. Times gazillion, collapse, do it now. Times gazillion, collapse, do it now. Times gazillion, collapse, do it now. What kind of emotional struggle lives in your energetic field that contributes to triggered emotions in your relationship with your mother? What are the things you're still holding against your mother? What are all the things in your perception your mother has done wrong or has hurt you? In what way? What would it take for you to energetically communicate to your mother all the complaints that you have against her. What would it take for your mother to receive all of this information? And may some of your mother's good karma be used to energetically communicate to you all the grievances she has with you. What would it take for you to allow this information exchange to happen? And chances are your karmic bank account is plus minus zero. You've been hurt, you've hurt your mother. Delete this story, uncreate, delete this story, uncreate, delete this story, uncreate. The thing is this, often now, older souls are being incarnated. So often children are older souls than the parents. I see it with my nephews, right? I see how intelligent, how smart, how nice they are, how just good they are. And wise. I don't think I was like that when I was their age. So that is where a lot of arrogance comes from. Toward our mothers, toward our parents, we think we know better. My mother sums it up really well. She says, we're the last generation that listened to our parents, and we are the first generation that listened to their children. She likes repeating that. So you see how it is now. They were the last generation that listened to their parents, and they're the first generation that now have to listen to their children. So imagine what it's like. So delete this story, uncreate, delete this story, uncreate. Everywhere. What would it take for you to be able to develop that ability to perceive, sense the truth from the other person's point of view? Not just yours. We are often so entangled in our truth, us being right. If you are right, then somebody else must be wrong. What would it take for us to give up that idea, that need to be making our mothers wrong? Delete this story, uncreate. Those of you who are mothers, you know exactly what it's like being a mother, how hard it is. And you've given your best, you tried your best, and still it wasn't good enough, right? So what would it take? For you to give up, let go of that idea that somehow your mother has not lived up to your expectations. Chances are you didn't do much better than her, right? So delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. And would you have done better than her in her circumstances? That's another question. Our mothers grew up in a very, very, very different world, right? So delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to release all the emotional triggers that you're reacting to? I saw it somewhere on, there was an image, I think on Facebook somewhere, where it was saying, that our parents were the ones who, why parents are so good at triggering us, because they are the ones who installed all the triggers. So what would it take for you to give up, release from your energetic field all the triggers that you are reacting to, that your parents have installed in you? May some of your good karma abuse just create a full this to run pre-programmed soul energy through all the triggers in your consciousness. What would it take for you to see your mother with new eyes? What would it take for you to give your mother a new chance, your relationship a new chance? What would it take for your mother to give your relationship and you a new chance? You know how mothers often like bringing up stuff that happened 20 years ago. You're no longer that person. But it's the same with us. We often criticize and bring up stuff with our mothers that happened 20 years ago, and your mother might no longer be doing that. She might be also a very, very different person now. But we are still projecting the past on them, the past that's no longer there. So what would it take for us to see our mothers with absolutely new, fresh eyes, completely free of any judgments? Beginner's mind, as they say. What would it take for you to see your mother with a beginner's eye? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's interfering, everything that's not allowing this, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. What would it take for you to experience the divinity of your mother? And what would it take for you to experience your own divinity? Because that's what it is, you know? When you've experienced your own divinity, it opens your mind. It almost like blows the lid on our preconceptions, and we realize that there is just one of us here. We feel so connected to everybody, and there is so much love for everybody. So what would it take for you to blow the lid and experience your divinity, and also be shown the divinity of your mother? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. May some of you with karma be used to invite your mother's soul in this life before you. You can tell your mother, this soul, you know, thank you for giving me this life. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. Thank you for being there for me in the best you could, to the best of your ability. Thank you for feeding me, raising me, for your patience, sleepless nights, for offering your body so that my body could be shaped into what it is now. If your mother had a voice, had a story, what would she say to you? And if you had a voice, what would you reply? What would it take for your relationship to be absolutely transformed? What would it take for you to be friends? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's interfering, everything that's not allowing this. What would it take for you to begin a new chapter in your relationship with your mother? What would it take for your mother to bless you with all that's best for you, according to you? What would it take for you to feel blessed in your relationship? Because that's what it is, you know, often when we don't feel blessed and supported by our mothers, things don't go well. Healing the relationship with our parents, it's very, very important. They're the ones who brought us into this physical plane. They are the foundation on which we build. Shaky foundation mean unstable house. So what would it take for your mother to be the stable foundation that you need in your life in order to succeed? What would it take for your mother to bless your money flow, your flow of prosperity? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's interfering, everything that's not allowing this, everything that's blocking it. What would it take? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to encourage your mother to a new thinking, new possibilities for herself? What would it take for your mother's soul to start paying more attention to what's happening down here? And what would it take for your mother's soul to wake up to spirituality and be guided in her growth? And what would it take for your mother to receive in life everything that she needs to be happy, so that she no longer has to cling on to you? What would it take for your mother to no longer need you and for you to no longer need your mother? You can still be together because you enjoy each other's company, but there is no neediness. Everything that's interfering, everything that's not allowing, everything that's preventing this, delete, destroy, uncreate, detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete. My soul of your good karma abuse, just create of all of this to instruct you, the soul, to trigger pre-programmed soul energy and start running it through all our consciousness and start deactivating all the neediness. Everywhere we feel our mothers are lost, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere we believe our mothers need to be found, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere we judge our mothers' lives as one full of mistakes, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere our mothers think the same about our lives, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere our mothers programmed us to just comply, be quiet, do what adults say, do what men say, be invisible, small. And some of our good karma abuse just create a fault this to run the pre-programmed soul energy and delete, destroy, uncreate across all time, dimension, space, and reality times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for us to allow the universe to guide us, our teachers, our guides, create a fault that is to guide us to the right tools, techniques, opportunities, words that would transform significantly our relationship with our mothers? What would it take? What would it take for us to allow for transformation to happen? What would it take for everybody else in our family to allow us to transform our relationship with our mothers? You know, our siblings might not want to have a better relationship with our mothers because maybe they have a better relationship with our mothers, or they would feel like you are prioritized or you are your mother's favorite. I have a grandmother who picks on everybody, all my cousins. I'm the only one she doesn't pick on anymore because I transformed my relationship with her so significantly. And there's no reason to be jealous. I did the work. I put the hours and work into it to transform the relationship. They didn't. So I reap the benefits. So delete, the story, uncreate, delete, the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere there is a competition in the family for your mother's love, delete, the story, uncreate, for your mother's attention, delete, the story, uncreate. Everywhere you've been programmed to compete with others for your mother's attention, for your mother's love, for your mother's time, delete, the story, uncreate. Everywhere you feel you're a burden to your mother, delete, the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to take out all the anger out of the word mother, all the emotional baggage? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Now focus on your heart. What's in your heart? What do you feel for your mother? If you see your mother standing before you, just as she is now, or was when you last saw her, What's in your heart? Everywhere there's grievances in your heart, everywhere there's heaviness in your heart. See the inner child, you, the girl, you, the child. What would it take for you to heal the inner child? To heal your inner child relationship with your mother? Delete, destroy, uncreate, may some of you with karma abuse to run, program soul energy through you, the inner child. And may some of you with karma abuse just create a flow that is the universe. Give you, the inner child, whatever you need that your mother could never give you when you were small. Receive it, feel all the support, all the love, all the understanding, all the kindness that you always wished was there. What would it take for you to feel love, gentleness, and kindness for yourself? So imagine your mother is holding you, the inner child, in her arms, is kissing you, is hugging you, is giving you words of encouragement, apologizing to you, and you apologizing to her. Smiling at you, making you feel loved, protected, safe, provided for, nurtured, accepted, respected. What would it take for all the hurt feelings to fall away? For most of you, it feels like the heaviness is on the shoulders. Lots and lots of heaviness in the shoulders. What would it take for you to let go of all the heaviness in the shoulders? Whatever has piled up from decades and decades of interacting with each other. If some of you with karma abuse, just create a flow that is to run pre-programmed soul energy through all that baggage. Times gazillion, collapse, do it now. Times gazillion, collapse, do it now. Times gazillion, collapse, do it now. What would it take for you to give up your need for fairness and justice? Eye for an eye. Everywhere you still want your mother to understand something about it, everywhere you're still wanting to argue about it, defend yourself, delete, destroy, and create. What would it take for you to give up that need? There's a choice you can make. Do you want to be right, or do you want to have peace? That's your choice. You can be right, or you can have peace. If you choose peace, then what would it take for you truly to choose peace on all the levels? And if you choose peace, then this energy has to go, right? There is no more space for that energy. So what would it take for you to finally see all this baggage and garbage, to see it shred? Layers and layers and layers of it shedding off of your skin, off of you. Everything that's interfering, everything that's standing on the way, everything that's not allowing this. Delete, destroy, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you believe your mother can never change, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere you feel your mother doesn't change fast enough, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere you feel frustrated by her pace, how slow or how quick she develops, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere everything about her bothers you, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere you feel like your mother rains on your parade. Everywhere you feel like your mother belittles you, delete this story, uncreate, delete this story, uncreate. Everywhere your mother can't accept that you are grown up now, delete this story, uncreate. What would it take for your mother to be absolutely joyful and happy about where you are, the choices, the experiences, what you have achieved? Everything that's interfering, everything that's standing on the way, everything that's not allowing this, delete this story, uncreate times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Again, what would it take for you to be great friends with your mother? What would it take for your mother to be your best friend, your biggest champion, your biggest helper? And for you to be the same for her, be her best friend, her biggest champion, her biggest helper. Delete the story, uncreate times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to have an amazing time together on this planet and beyond? What would it take for you and your mother to achieve the greatest level of development possible in your relationship with each other? The greatest peace, the greatest love, the greatest compassion, the greatest understanding, the greatest freedom. What would it take? Everything that's standing on the way, delete, destroy, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion, everything that's not allowing this, everything that's standing on the way, everything that's interfering. If some of you with karma abuse, just create a folder list to run pre-programmed soul energy and start clearing it all out. Delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. Put your awareness at the center of Mother Earth. Ground yourself. 5 feet down, 5 feet out. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes and be fully awake and alert. Those of you who would like to join next week's session, it's going to be all about daughters at war with their fathers and brothers. So everywhere you experience double standards in your family, everywhere you've been put down by your father or brothers, everywhere you've been programmed to serve man and family, that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, so it's going to be a continuation of today's session. And those of you who would like to join the money call on Thursday this week, it's going to be all about blame. Who do you blame for lack of money? So we're going to do all this thing. What would it take for you to take responsibility for it? And what would it take for you to finally embrace whatever money is available to you? And what would it take for you to finally disconnect all the people that are preventing you from having greater financial prosperity and success? So that's what we're going to be looking into. If this speaks to you, join us on Thursday. And tomorrow, it's going to be all about sentenced and judged. So everywhere, maybe past life, this life, you've been sentenced by a court, by the police, by judges, whatever that is, or kings. And everywhere you've been judged and sentenced by other people, that kind of energy we will be clearing out. So everywhere you're still living out to whatever you've been sentenced to, and you still feel like you are not fully free, that's what we're going to be flashing out. Again, if you have time, join us tomorrow, okay? Thank you so much for being here. I hope this was a good session. Again, head to the YouTube channel, also do the releasing session with Heiko and Selena. That might be also quite powerful. Again, thank you so much for being here. Have a good day. Bye-bye.